So the key, if you have a child with you, then Border Patrol will release you very quickly. And so in the Rio Grande Valley, if we go back to 2014, then the number of men who were apprehended by Border Patrol, there were fewer than 1% that had a child with them. Now that number is 50%.
Wow.
So there's no catastrophic event in Central America that would indicate that that's the reason why all of these men and children are fleeing. So you have to assume that they are doing that that's their golden ticket in, is to have a child. And the policy is that any child under 14 does not get biographical information taken. That's just a regulation, which means it's very easy to circulate a child around, rent them out. UMA said they are starting a pilot program with photographs and fingerprints, but the adult with the child has to consent to that. And they're also starting a pilot DNA program, but it's very costly, very limited. So if you think there's 3 a day in Yuma, there's 3 times that number in Rio Grande Valley. Rio Grande Valley, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, there was a man from Honduras, and he had a 1-year-old child with him, and after a while they found out that the child was not his. And I have asked a few people now, if he had gotten through, what would have happened to that 1-year-old child? I can't imagine that man would have looked after and cared for that child. So we don't really know. The child may have been just recycled back. You can't ask a 1-year-old child, hey, who's your real parents, or anything like that.
Well, and then I read in the news the other day that Border Patrol came up on a group and they just left a 6-year-old or something like that.
A 3-year-old,
And he was crying, and Border Patrol found him. They just left him all there. And at the time, it didn't make sense to me because the way the media tells you is these are families coming over. I'm like, what family? If you just made this trek, leaves their 3-year-old randomly when Border Patrol comes up. And now it makes sense, realizing that these are kids that are being not only trafficked, but being recycled over and over again. And so, and then the other thing we were talking about that was crazy is you're saying that in the States even, these are kids that are being trafficked, that their families are living here, and then they're being re-trafficked through, like living in America. They're not in Mexico, they're living in America, and the kids are being rented out to go through this process. But tell me also what happens, once these people get here, or the kids get here, what's the process that they go through? Because I'm thinking, like I'm very pro-adoption, and so I'm thinking, what's happening with all these kids? Like, if they're being caught, where are they going? So would you mind just sharing those stats too?
So that the kids on their own, if they're found to be a fake parent, then DHS will try and find their real parents. Sometimes the parent is south of the border, sometimes the parent is actually already in America, and they're basically renting them out. They're trafficking their own child up, but using them to get someone else entry.
And will they be, if they find out that they have been trafficked, they probably won't even own it, but would that child then be returned to them? Or, I mean, that's child abuse, is renting your child out?
I don't know enough about it, but I know that if they cannot find the parents, then that child will go to Health and Human Services, and through the Office of Refugee Resettlement will be resettled with a sponsor in the United States. So the Health and Human Services at the moment has over 12,000 unaccompanied minors and children. And most of them actually go to parents who are already in the country illegally.
Wow, that's scary.